Hey guys, welcome. I am Hamsack, and this today is about High on Life. It's a new game that just came out and is already at the top of the charts on Game Pass. Came out like a week ago. Um, we're gonna talk about why, the good, the bad, all this junk. I think they nailed it with this little intro, teaching you all the little mechanics, jumping around, crouching, shooting. Um, Killing your ex-wife's alien boyfriend's clones. It really brings you to real life scenario. First thing I want to talk about though is the level design. All the zones, the planets, all of that. There's 3 planets, 3 zones per planet, and then a couple of extra things thrown in all over the place. But you want to visit them all. They all have their own unique little places. Every zone feels unique without feeling disconnected from the rest of them. Each zone and area has its own little reason to go back. There's either collectibles to find or even little shops to buy new stuff in, supplies, whatever. At the start of your game, you get to pick between easy, normal, or hard, or in their words, you get to pick story mode, normal, or hunter. And each one is significantly different from the other in difficulty, at least. Easy is pretty easy. Normal is, it's normal. I'd say it's probably the best place to start. And then hard is a lot harder, but they give you the option to change it later in the game. At any point, you can just go into your settings if you feel it's too hard and just change it back to normal or easy. As you are progressing through the story, you will collect 4 guns plus one, but that's like only for like the final mission, so it's not really one you get to hang on to all the time. But all the other 4 guns, you have Kenny, who is your starting gun, just does single shots, and then you have his special ability, which is his glob shot, that is more of an area damage, and it can bounce people into the air, which is super awesome. It lets you juggle people if you like just keep them bouncing in the air if you shoot them while they're in the air. Then you have Gus. Gus lets you. He's a shotgun, so anybody close up is it's pretty good on. However, Gus seems to be the weaker of all of them. I have not found a good reason to use him very often, except for his special ability, which is this disc. Each of the guns has their own way of helping you collect things in the game. Either go help with platforming or get through a invisible door. So with Gus, you actually get the option to go either for him first, or you can go for Sweezy first. Sweezy is the next gun we're going to talk about. Just your she's just a needler from Halo. Except she talks to you. And she's a little more aggressive than the other guns when she's talking to you, but she just don't mess up and she won't call you names. So if you like fast-paced shooting and explosions, then she's probably the one to go for. She also has an ability that lets you charge up a crystal that she shoots and shoot it harder. So it's a bigger explosion when you detonate your crystals. And it helps against snipers. So she's kind of all around pretty helpful. Probably my favorite gun. She also has a time bubble that lets you slow things down to be able to get collectibles and things around the worlds, different planets. But she also has the ability to use that bubble against enemies. So it slows anybody down within the bubble, and you can shoot them while they're in the bubble, and it will explode the bubble and deal bonus damage to them. Or you can just slow them down and knife them to death. Super easy. The next gun you'll get is called Creature, and he launches his own children out of him, and then they chase people and kill them. So it's kind of a unique kind of gun. You don't see a lot of it, a lot of guns like that. His ability to get through obstacles is he shoots one of his kids into a machine, and then it'll shut the obstacle down for you. So he's kind of a unique character. A lot of fun to listen to. The last gun you get is called Let's Do It. He's not really a gun you get to play with very much. You only get to play with him in like one mission, and then that's it. But he is very powerful. Basically shoots a lightning blast at everything on your screen. So he's definitely fun to use the little you get to use him. Each gun has its own dialogue and character about them. They are unique on their own, and you can pick whichever one you want to kind of represent you. Whichever one you're holding at the time is whichever one that will talk for you, pretty much.
Should I even ask why they call you Old Wet Grundy, or does it speak for itself?
It's 'cause I'm old and I piss myself every day. I'm doing it right now.
You're pissing yourself right now. You're pissing yourself right now.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of dialogue, a lot of different characters in the game have their own special dialogue when you bump into them. Whether you're talking to them directly, or you're talking to someone just in the story. As you go, you'll have to pick a dialogue option sometimes to interact with them. And it usually doesn't matter which dialogue option you pick, but it's always fun to hear what they say each time you pick something different. Are you the new hire? This is the person you're talking to. Are you the new hire, or are you the new boss?
What'd you tell him?
I haven't said anything yet. I'm gonna say probably boss.
Alright.
As a matter of fact, I am the new boss. Absolutely.
Yeah, right. You're not, honey. That's funny, though. I like it when the new hires have a sense of humor. Let's get you all set up. Head on into the next room and find a place to work.
He's like, yeah, no, you're not, but okay.
This chair in years, and I don't plan to start now.
Oh, she didn't believe you?
Uh-uh.
I think it's because I had Sweezy. Because when I was the boss, it switched to Sweezy, and she was the one talking.
Oh. There's a lot of different characters in the game to interact with, and some that won't interact with you at all. Some are just standing around, probably peeing, walking, sitting, gooping, twitching. They could be monkey balls, or just some really disturbing Care Bears. Some are selling very questionable goods. Some don't want to sell you anything but own a pawn shop. And some of them are playing music, if you want to call it music. So bad. There are some townsfolk that you might not want to kill, even if you can, because otherwise you won't get to hear the funny things they have to say. And turns out there are actually some bosses that you're supposed to kill, not just townsfolk. Ninetorg, Douglas, Krubis, the Skrendel brothers, Dr. Giblets, a drug dealer, and Jabba the Butt. Each boss has its own unique abilities and mechanics, which make them stand out from all the other bosses. And each boss fight arena has its own obstacles and platforming to help you avoid certain mechanics. Aside from bosses, there's actually a bunch of different enemies in the game. They have little mites, armored mites, and they have these vomiting gopher things, and then magic flying babies, flying goopers, little MODOK drone type guys. They have short ants, tall ants, eye guys, tall guys, purple guys, big guys.
That's the stuff.
the salesman of food products for some reason sells you this toilet.
Yeah, it's coming.
Oh God, I don't want to watch.
The mites and the gophers are just kind of like animals that you gotta deal with once in a while and are a little annoying, but not a big deal. The ones you really want to worry about are the magic flying babies and the flying goopers. Those ones you want to make sure you kill right away because they heal the enemy and apply shields to the enemy. So you want to get rid of those as fast as you can. And the little Modocs are just kind of annoying because they're hard to find sometimes. They'll fly away and you can never find them again. But the short ants, the tall ants, they're easy. They're super easy to kill. You just have to shoot them in the head like once and then they're dead. But the eye guys, try to kill the eye guys with the knife most of the time. They're not hard to kill, but they're more fun to kill with the knife. The yellow guys are actually just covered in this goop that you can shoot off of them, and it acts like kind of a shield. So the more goop you shoot off of them, the less health they have. It's kind of a cool way to easily identify a health bar without having a health bar. So there's these big guys, and then there's these really big guys. The big red guys, they'll just run at you, and you have to kill them before they kill you. They're not very hard. They do melee damage, so as long as you stay back a little bit or bounce them into the air, they'll die pretty easily. The really big guys, however, they just have tons of health, and they have this gun that shoots a mortar onto you. It's just a big blob gun that'll deal lots of damage to you, so you want to watch out for that. And the purple guys, I found that the purple guys, for me, the easiest way to kill them is with Sweezy, because you can slow them down. Because they move so fast and they teleport around and they have a good amount of health, they're a little hard to kill with most other guns. Unless you're using Creature. Creature is just an easy kind of shoot and forget, because you just throw your little babies at them and then they take care of it for you. Gus actually is kind of useful, but only for the flying guys. If you're having trouble hitting the flying guys, like the drones or the babies or the goopers, I recommend using Gus, because he has a suction ability that makes it so you can bring the flying guys towards you and then just shoot them that way, so it's a lot easier. Otherwise, I wouldn't really recommend using Gus very often. The knife does more damage anyways, so I'd rather just use Knifey rather than Gus. The Luglocks are another creature that you kill in this game. They're like living chests. You hit them with your knife, break them open, and you get loot. No, not flute. Loot. When you break them open, you get things like money, or upgrades to your weapons, or even upgrades to your armor. And also, you get trading cards. They might be everywhere, but they are also a little tricky to find sometimes. So a little tip, check your radar. They'll show up as a little blue marker, and you'll be able to find them a lot easier. Then even if you do see them on your radar, you might not be able to get them quite yet. Some of them you need to get a different gun for, or some of them you might need your jetpack for. Or you might need even wait long enough to get the mag boots, little magnet boots that help you walk on stuff. Some of them even require high scores, or this.
What kind of hellspawn are you? You sick f***ing fuck! You just killed the love of my life!
Oh my God, this is awful.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't bear it!
We'll be taking this loot, I guess.
At least you get good stuff from it. Most of the time. Sometimes. And after finding all of them, you get an achievement. You also get achievements for watching a commercial, defeating all the bosses, solving puzzles, buying stuff, helping a guy with his music career, collecting Pokemon cards, being evil, or being polite. There's a lot of good stuff in this game, but there are a few bad eggs. For one, I didn't really like the field of view. It seemed too narrow to me, but that's really not that big of a deal. Another thing I noticed was that some of the interactions should have been optional. A lot of the ones, mainly with Lizzie, weren't very exciting, and I didn't really care too much about them. They would have been nice to go through on maybe a second playthrough, but my first playthrough I didn't really care about Lizzie and didn't really want to associate with her that much. She just was kind of annoying, which is probably her character. It was probably supposed to be that way, but even then, I wish it was an optional interaction. Also, the music during combat is pretty repetitive and can get a little annoying if you listen to it over and over and over again. And another thing, there weren't very many, but there were still a couple of glitches. They were mostly things like your character getting stuck, falling in a spot that you weren't supposed to get to in the first place, but still. And the other one was that the game would crash once in a while. Not sure why, but that's pretty much it that I noticed for glitches. They weren't too big of a deal though, because it saves pretty often, and resetting your checkpoint is something you can do pretty easily. And one last thing, it's rated M, and for a reason. It has a lot of suggestive themes, and there's a lot of violence. So if you're not 17 plus, probably don't play the game yet. Otherwise, you gotta try this game. There's tons to explore, tons of characters to interact with different dialogue. And then, maybe want to re-explore some more areas. So that way you can unlock the secret ending, because it's worth it.
Hey, that key card you
I won't spoil it here, but there's plenty of videos out there if you're interested. That's the show, everybody. And if you liked what you saw, want to hear more, let me know down in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace. What's up, everybody? I am holding my stomach for some reason. Why am I doing that? What is up, everybody? I am here to talk about High on Life. It's a new game that just came out, and I didn't mention what my name was. Hey, everybody. Jazz hands. The mites. Walking, sitting, pooping, not pooping, I read that wrong. Each character, alright, it doesn't suck.